fourth study on Ruth. If you would please let me share my screen with you, and we'll take a look at our old friend Bible Gateway. And here I have Proverbs 31 all queued up and ready to go. You remember this is about the virtuous and capable wife. Today we're going to look here verses 15 to 19. We talked last week about how the virtuous woman worked hard. Well, today she gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She's energetic and strong. She's a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread, and her fingers twisting fiber. Then down here in verse 24, she makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. This just reiterates what a hard worker she is. But look here at verse 20. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. The virtuous woman is a generous woman. We see much the same now in Boaz, who in verse 1 is called a virtuous, a wealthy and influential man in New Living Translation. It is the same phrase. He is a virtuous man. He's a man of nobility. So in chapter 2, like we saw last week, Ruth, being a hard worker, goes to actually glean crops. She goes to gather, knowing the Jewish law, that they were to leave something for the poor to be able to collect. She was willing to gather, glean crops from the leftover grain, that which was left for the poor. Boaz sees her, verse 5. Who's that young woman over there? Who does she belong to? The foreman says she's the young woman who came from Moab, came back with Noemi. Boaz goes to her and says, listen, my daughter, stay right here with us when you gather grain. Don't go to any other fields. She says, what have I done to deserve such kindness? Verse 10, I'm only a foreigner. Verse 11, Boaz says, yes, I know, but I also know everything that you've done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. I heard how you left your father and mother and your own land to live here among complete strangers. May the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge, reward you fully for what you've done. I hope to continue to please you, sir, she replied. You've comforted me by speaking so kindly to me, even though I'm not one of your workers. At mealtime, Boaz called to her, come over here, help yourself to some food, dip your bread in the sour wine. And she sat with his harvesters. Boaz gave her some roasted grain to eat. She ate all she wanted and still had some left over. When Ruth went back to work again, Boaz ordered his young men, let her gather grain right among the sheaves without stopping her, and pull out some heads of barley from the bundles. Drop them on purpose for her. Let her pick them up and don't give her a hard time. When she was done, she filled an entire basket. You remember last week we said this was practically enough for several weeks of food, actually. Generosity. That's what Proverbs is talking about. Generosity. We are to be generous and generous with our friends. Um, Friendship and generosity. We are to be generous. The more generous we are with our friends, the stronger the friendship becomes. What does it mean to be generous? First of all, it means starting from an abundance mindset, starting from a mindset that doesn't look at the little that we have, but looks at what we have and recognizes that it's enough. It's that there is an abundance that we have here, enough that we can give away. We give away simply for the blessing of giving. We don't give away with the idea that we will gain back, but we give away simply hoping to share with others. So what can we be generous with? We can be generous with our time, especially with our friends. Look for opportunities to share with them, to spend time with them. We can be generous with our praise. It's very difficult to go through life without someone who is, in essence, your cheerleader. But friends can be cheerleaders for each other. We can praise, and we should praise each other. We can be generous with our gratitude. Very simple to say thank you, but it's an art that is becoming forgotten when our friend does something for us. Let's be thankful and let them know how thankful we are. And then finally, we can be generous with our possessions. Look for opportunities to share with your friends, to give to your friends, whether it's something that you found and you bought, or whether it's something that you made, that you created with your own hands. Be generous. It builds friendships.